Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks again for this week's Kafka live stream, simplifying Kafka through lenses. We've got a really exciting agenda today. So we're actually changing a little bit the format from previous weeks. So stay tuned. As always, add your comments in the chat window. Any questions, feel free to either, if you're a little bit shy, you can just post them in the Q&A. If you're not so shy, put your hand up, we'll connect you. I think Alex will connect you and you can speak to us directly. We're here to help. We've got a whole team on the call. So let's get going. So as always, we've got a lineup of topics that we like to discuss every week. Next week, it's managing Kafka consumer offsets. We've also got some really cool new features that I think Adamos is probably going to present next week that's coming up to help further simplify managing consumer offsets. And then on the 15th of February, we're talking about security, Kafka security, and managing external secrets for Kafka Connect using Secrets Manager. So really exciting stuff. As always, we've got a team on the call ready to answer your questions, experts from our field and professional services team, but also from our product and engineering team. So Stefan, Andrew, Moss, Adam, who is traveling today, he's actually emigrating to a new country, so he'll be back next week. He's still with us, but he's on a flight right now, so I'm covering for him. And we've got our champion, Matthias, who will do a lot of the demo today. Again, any questions, this team are here to help, so feel free to put your hand up or ask any questions on the chat. We're also live on YouTube for the first week, so welcome to all our YouTube videos, YouTube viewers. I don't know how familiar you are with Lenses, but Lenses is the leading developer experience for building event-driven applications on Apache Kafka, and we remove a lot of the complexity associated and the struggles associated with building and operating applications on Kafka. And we do this by enabling anyone to be able to discover and observe both their streaming applications and their applications connected to Kafka. So today's session is all about understanding and managing schemas in Kafka. So first thing we're going to cover is just a 101 of Schema Registry. I'm assuming that most people have a basic understanding, but just in 3 minutes, we'll just summarize. Then we're going to show you how you can create schemas using SQL. Seems a bit weird, but really cool feature that we have. Then managing schemas, such as evolving more. Then, of course, we have to think about how you secure those schemas. So we're going to touch on security. And then if we've got a bit of time, we're going to show you a really cool bonus feature of how you can transform a JSON event or JSON stream into an Avro stream using our SQL processor engine. So with that, yes, maybe I'm going to stop sharing and let's just give a 101 of schemas and schema registry in Kafka. So let me just stop and I'll let you be able to share.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
So I guess the first thing is, what problem are we trying to solve with schemas?
I believe that most of people are used to the kind of scenario, right? You have developed a microservice team. Usually they have the flexibility to work like everyone in his domain. I don't have to worry about. So I have this a little idea for you guys that I have the orders teams. He's responsible for my orders microservice. He's only do that. He knows about orders. He knows about the business. He knows about the application that published into Kafka. And I have my invoice team, my inventory team, and my anti-fraud team that's going to consume this data. But these teams do not connect together because they have to work by flexibility. They have to work standalone and they don't have to work together to get results. Everything is working fine. I'm producing my JSON file to Kafka. Everybody is reading, all good. Then this happened. On one edge, the producer side, someone, management, can be business, say, okay, now it's time for us to evolve this, to change. I need more features. I need something more to be on the other side. So what happened is the other team say, okay, let's publish YouTube and let's change my schema to another schema. What happened is this entire team, it can be like 1,000 microservices. They are waiting for a specific schema, a specific type of message. What happened after this? Chaos, right? Because the consumer side is processing a type of message, is expecting that, is okay, now change. And you have two ways to solve this problem. You put everybody together and they say, okay, you guys come here, work as a single one, and then the microservice is scattered, you're gonna build your monolith. And then you're gonna lose a lot of things in the way and can be problematic. It's not something that can be done. So what you usually take? Okay, guys, let's do something that's more easy. Let's do like a contract. A schema is I have this idea. A schema is like a contract. I say my producers say, okay, I'm gonna build this is gonna be the message they're gonna send. I write this in one place, and then the consumer say, okay, this is the data that I want, this one place. So they have a contract between them. If someone's break, I know if someone's break, I know if it has a change. If I add some clause, I know as well. The whole idea of these two work together, but not have dependency. I don't need to be in this side or the other side. Everyone can have this flexibility. That's why schemas are really nice things to be using. And guys, I've been for data for almost 12 years. So everybody works data works schema. Data has to have a schema. It's not because Kafka doesn't require, if you want to use no schema is a good practice. I always say that's a good practice to use schema. That's why we have this. I'm gonna explain a lot of arrows. Bear with me, don't worry. The same scenario. New feature happens, but now we are using what we call Schema Registry. Can be Confluent Schema Registry, can be AWS Glue Schema Registry, can be Apcurio, doesn't matter. It's a registry where they're gonna send the data, Arvo data to Kafka, but the schema I'm gonna send to this registry. So this is the guy I can say is like a judge. He's gonna say, okay, the contracts is gonna be inside of me. I have the contracts. So the producer, what is the message that you send? I'm gonna get only the metadata of the message on the schema. I'm gonna store here. And then now what's gonna happen is every time that I'm gonna consume this data, I'm gonna confirm, I'm gonna access the schema of the data. So I have to do both. So far, so good. Guys, I'm not seeing any questions on the chat. I think it's good. Yeah. If someone have a question, I can stop, explain. Guys, the session is for you guys. Let's try to use this session as more as possible. Stop that. What? Say
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Is this? I'm going to drink a water.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so now every time I'm producing a message, I'm conforming to schema, and the consumers, they're consuming a message. How do they know what schema that message
that's a good question. So I have this. I'm gonna explain AWS, and I'm gonna go to the Confluent. The Confluent is most used one in my opinion, but the same idea. On the header of the message, we have the schema ID. So whatever I have to, when the producer produce a message, it had the schema ID of that message and the content. So when I'm gonna go is I'm gonna go into the schema hash and get this ID of the message, and I have the schema. So I always have the schema that I want to. Easy. There's no problems.
Okay.
That's okay. Where is my contract? What's the idea of my contract? Okay, you guys producing this message, how I can retrieve it, how I can know that's the message that I want. So that's the one I use. Okay. But let's see this in the product. I think people want to see, we technically want to see more the product, see like it's hands-on, right?
But maybe where does lenses fit in this architecture then?
What? Sorry?
Where does lenses fit in this architecture?
Imagine that's the best part. You see, you have Kafka, you have Schema Registry. I'm gonna explain this in the product, but everything like is different components. You have to access one, access other. You have to know Java, you have to know Scala, you have to know a lot of things. So what Lenses does, and that's the magic, is connect to you these components. So if I go to my administration, I can see that I have a connection to Kafka. I always see lenses as a layer, in my opinion. It's a layer where I can interact with Kafka brokers, Kafka Connect, Schema Registry. So I have these connections that I can interface with them using lenses, always through lenses, guys. So I have this Kafka connection that I have my Bootstrap connection from my brokers. So I have access to my Kafka. I have here my Schema Registry using the Confluent Schema Registry as well. So I have these two configurations. So far, I'm just connecting, but how I can see the representation of topics, for example. That's what my data is. Like I say, when I gonna integrate my schema. So I go to explore for those who don't know lenses. And here I have a list of my topics. I'm gonna grab one topic that has no schema, is a JSON one. I just have a producer that sent the JSON. I don't know, this producer doesn't know the schema history, doesn't know nothing of this. So I can go here, JSON, my backend, and I can have this. But the important thing, how he does that, how he builds this for me. Because I didn't show any, I didn't send in schema, I didn't say data to Kafka. So if I go to this part that I don't want to show, Lenses has an infer schema if you don't change it. So he understands the message and build it for you in schema if you don't send him a schema. I always love this kind of stuff because usually you see a lot of JSON formats that don't use a schema registry. Again, I'm more a data professional. So when I have to understand the data of a message, if I don't have the schema of the data, it's going to be crazy, right? Here I have the schema. But again, this is lenses to understand the message and build the schema for me. I know you have a question. Yeah.
So this schema is not in the schema registry. This is lenses that's dynamically understood the schema from the data, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So we're not yet at the schema registry. Okay. Makes sense. Let's just see if there's any questions. Okay, and what does that bring us in lenses then? What's the point of this? Of lenses having this schema?
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kafka, but it's a stream platform that's not easy to read and consume data if you're not a developer. But Lenses has this SQL Studio. Yes, guys, SQL. Yeah, believe me, SQL. So we can go here and we say, okay, now I want to do a select. I put the star because I'm exploring my options from. And then let me just refresh because it has IntelliSense. I don't know. I think it's a problem with my browser. And now I have to refresh. From, and then he shows representation of table in SQL Studio is a topic, right? So if I have a topic, I have the representation in a table in the SQL Studio. Always think about that. So I can go and say, okay, I have the orders, like I say, the backend JSON. And then I can say this, for example. Nice. I have 2000 records on this one. I can say, okay, now I want to know the address. That can be address ID and the payment ID.
So I think the point is here, it's important for lenses to understand schema so that SQL can work. Even if you're not using a schema registry, it needs, if it's just JSON events, this allows us to apply a SQL engine on top of data, even if it's not Avro, right?
Yep. How you can query a data without a schema.
Yeah.
That's the big point. Like how I can do a where without a schema, if I don't know which field they're going to query, with how I'm going to filter this out, how part of, I believe the whole idea of construction of lenses make completely sense because one piece can complete other, and then you can see the whole picture when you start to work in the daily basis. So exactly like you say, like everything like was built thinking about, okay, if I'm using this for that component, yeah, amazing.
Sure. Okay, but here we're still not using the schema registry. So we want to centralize all our schemas in the schema registry. That's the thing, right?
Yeah. And again, I show you guys the integration, but let me show you, before I go to the schema registry tab, I show the select. Let's try to create a new topic using SQL. And then I want to do already integrating with schema registry. So I have the statement, open up here. Let me just move, okay. To be easy. And I create this others info that I want the key and the ID so far, because I'm still thinking what I'm gonna add to this. I don't want the entire topic, the entire information. So I'm creating a table. Again, table is a representation of topic. I'm creating the schema here, right? Key, string, ID, string, format Avro. The properties is partition one, not a compact topic. I'm not telling him what is the schema registry is. I'm not telling anything different than a SQL statement. So I'm gonna run. If I do everything correctly, okay, it created. Let me do this vision. The topic others info has been created. So if I go here, my topics info, others info is here. Let's go to the schema. If you see it is the correct schema, it's on the schema registry. So if I go, I can see the schema here, but again, let's see if it's on schema registry. If I go to the schema registry, now he's reading my conference schema registry and see all the schemas that we store. I can go, where is it? If you guys see before me, let me know. It takes a little time to show up, but it's gonna show, okay, it's here. I have the key and the value because I say, right? So I specify there's only key and the value they're gonna be in Avro, so he creates for me. Okay, then what happened next? Someone say to me, okay, now let's evolve this schema. I don't want to only use the one field. I can see here. Someone has a question so far? Oh, good,
All right,
good.
folks, if you have any questions, feel free to.
Let me know. Okay. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just show you guys something. I'm gonna add, and that's important. I'm gonna say is a name. You can say name, and then I'm gonna save. What happened is this problem is because I'm using the backward compatibility on this one. I'm gonna leave this for you guys if you want on the channel. It has this table where we can show that in case of the backward compatibility, I can add mandatory fields on my Avro, only optional. So I can delete fields, but I cannot add. But I'm gonna change this for us to see the power of license management over schema registry. I want to change to forward because I want to add. This is something that's always gonna happen. I was gonna append for this one new schemas. So I'm gonna go here, change the compatibility for only this schema. So I go to forward. I'm gonna change. Okay, and now I'm gonna save. What's gonna happen? I could upgrade evolve my schema. For the schema part, you forgot, and one thing before I forgot, we can do this in the global level. I can say, okay, now everybody is gonna do this. All these schemas is gonna go by the copy that I want. Be careful of this. That's always understand the use case. And for us to not lose the bonus, because I really want to show you guys this because it's not easy handle. You have any questions so far?
I think there was a question whether you can create a topic other than from SQL. So you should creating a topic in Schema. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Tajita.
Is there any way to create a topic? Yes, it can. You can go here, create a topic, and then specify the topic and configuration that you want. Yeah, can do it without this other than SQL. Yeah, you can.
But this wouldn't create the schema at the same time. This only creates the topic, whereas what we showed with the SQL, it would create the topic and the schema and schema registry at the same time, right? Yes.
In this case, it's gonna only create a topic because I'm not specify the format. So I'm gonna create a topic first. It's gonna be bytes, and then I can specify here what is the format that I want to use. But yeah, I can. I want to show the bonus because the bonus is the best part in my opinion. Because I suffer with this.
Yeah, I think.
What is the best method you think to create a topic from SQL or from on the web browser create topic?
Good question. Depends, I can say first. I think SQL, in my opinion, because I'm a data guy, so I think SQL is more easy because you can specify already all the fields that you want to use, the data type, the format. So I think it's more easy to create in SQL, in my opinion. But if you want the developer, usually the developer wants something more, okay, I want to specify information as application factory, how many retained. I can change this later as well in both sides. If I want to create in SQL or not, I can change this. But it sometimes they go straight to this one, but depends. I think the SQL is the most easy one in my opinion. In practical.
Again, when you create it by SQL, it imposes the schema at the point you're creating the topic. So,
yeah.
Okay, we've got only a
few that you
few.
have to think of in this.
A few, maybe, hopefully we can overrun because we really want to show a bonus. But what about securing this? Because this sounds great, but it sounds like it might be a mess when one developer deletes a schema that they shouldn't or evolves a schema that they shouldn't. So, what governance can we put to protect this?
So going back to the schema registry part, I can go to schema registry. I can go to my schema that I change. And if I go to activities, okay, we have, let's say that Mateus was the one that add information schema, upgraded. So we have this information on the activity itself. But besides that, we can see the global in this, always inside lenses. Okay, guys, always use lenses. This is, I'm doing through lenses. So the idea is you guys to interface these all through lenses. So we have this, all the lenses. I can go to admin as well and to see logs. And I can see here as well in audit logs, I can see, let me show you guys. Okay, the schema creation, the schema update. You guys can see as well in global. And then you can integrate with tools like Splunk and other tools that you guys have in-house. It's fully integrating with the most used tools in the market.
Okay, let's go audits. And then what if I want to prevent people from evolving schemas or changing schemas in the first place?
One thing that we can do is create, like inside of Lens authorization, create groups, similar to most of people think is roles. When I can say, okay, I wanted to do like this orders, vector team, I can say that only, and I'm explaining what I'm doing. I'm adding a namespace that everything, the spectrum of Kafka connection that I, okay, say orders, and I can use a regex star. All the topics that start with orders, I can see. And then I can say, okay, I don't want you to upgrade schemas. I want you to, for example, view data, view schemas, and view data with schema. Yeah, that's good. Don't need more than that. And then I can say there's view. And then I have a group for only view, for example, developers or users, number of users, then you cannot change this. So if I add a user to this group, let me see if I have time. I say, Guilherme, now you are in this group. Well, this architecture, because you don't have to see it, don't need to alter. I can go here. Let's see if we're gonna have time. Please, guys, bear with me. I'm gonna more 5 minutes and we're gonna finish. I'm gonna be super fast on this one, I hope. Yeah, if I want to come here, I can see only orders, the users topic, or product topics that I have not shown anymore. I can come here, schema. I know there's schema registry. I can try to edit. Let's do like a doc here. Save. Nothing happens. The policy does not let me change or add or delete any field on this schema.
Nice. Amazing. Great feature. So that's one way. You created namespaces, which are basically almost regular expression matches on topics, and then you can assign permissions to. So you could have one team that can evolve their own schemas and can
The
view
other
another,
one,
view it the team's schemas, but can't evolve or change the schemas of their teams. Super.
again, I see lenses as a layer to do that. So that's why I really believe that we should use lenses at the top of Kafka and then interact through lenses in Kafka. If I want to do analysis, if I want to access data and all this stuff. So let's go to this guy. I know you guys want to see this, right?
Let's show maybe a skeletal Matthias on this like that. Look, what's the
Good.
And sorry, I know we're over. This is worth waiting for, this feature.
Yeah, it's important for guys to know. What happens here? Usually we have a lot of things in company and we have the third-party applications. The application that nobody touches. Is there, no one can access. I have this for the orders. Now the orders is another company, we cannot change, is always change JSON. But then someone says, okay, I want to have the contract, I want to have Avro because Avro is on top of Kafka, is more performant, I want to use Avro. That's the change the consumer, but not the producer. That's the management says. I want to start working on to have this contract in my company, but I cannot change the producer. What do I do? And I'm going to explain this in a really easy way. The data enters a JSON. We have lenses in top of Kafka to access the JSON file, consume that JSON message, transform this message into Avro, and then all the downstream applications are going to consume through Avro, already integrated with Schema Registry. It seems like complex, but I'm going to show how easy it is. So if we go here, again, main panel, I go to the apps, I go to new SQL processor. Let's delete this. I'm gonna explain in a bit. This is how we create our application. One thing the lenses have that I really like it is the snippet. I can say topic, format change our topic to existing JSON, already giving this to you. Let's understand this statement. I'm gonna auto create the new topic. I'm gonna say this orders invoice Avro is for the invoice application. And now I'm gonna say that orders my backend. What I'm gonna say is insert into this topic, store key and value as Avro, select stream star in all data inside of this from this topic. Easy. Again, SQL, guys. One of the most easy language to work with. So I can do this format orders involved. And in this case, I'm using the Kubernetes deployment. What's going to happen is I'm going to use my cluster. I'm going to explain which namespace I'm using, how many pods I can scale. If there's a big application that receives a lot of data, I can scale to read more and to write more. Is the simplest one. I'm going to see, okay, I'm good. I'm going to create. If I did anything wrong, I already test this tons of times. You're going to create me for the application, but not start yet. I can go start processor. What's going to happen is instantiate for me a pod in my cluster is reading the records. It's 2000, if I'm not mistaken, and it's going to write the 2000, the new topic. If I didn't do anything wrong, okay,
Suspense,
the 2000, yeah. It's really fast. It's blazing fast. I really like how it works. And if we go into the Schema Registry, if I didn't do anything wrong, it's going to show here the schema of my, where is it? It might take some time, but it's going to show here my new schema.
Can we see the data, the new Avro data, maybe?
Yeah, for sure. So if I go to, okay, this is others invoice. Avro is my Avro, my JSON that I transform in the Avro format. is already on my schema registry. And I can query. Other way to go to the SQL Studio that I really enjoy is I go to the topic that I want, I go to the SQL Studio button, and then it already create for me, select a star if you guys want to use it, limit 100. So if I go back to schema registry, let's see, okay, hard. My schema is already on my schema registry. I didn't do anything besides update a SQL statement.
Nice.
I think it's good for the show.
I don't know if we'd sit in the topology, Matthias. Is your permissions? If we look at the topology, that's a pretty nice feature. We'll see how we're transforming the data, right?
You see here?
Yeah, there we go.
So
we've got our JSON topic on the left and a
Yeah.
processor that's converting it into Avro into another Kafka topic called orders invoice Avro. Really cool. So that means we don't have to update the producer to Avro. We can, maybe it's the producer's a mainframe-based application. It will take months, if not years, to re-architect the Avro, but you can start building your consumer applications based on Avro and a schema.
And I'm ingesting a few rows of data, and they already see here that is like changing, receiving data by second. Because it's running, it's keep running.